Hi, another video here by Tokyo Real Estate Man or the Balancer in Stanley Park. Just a little bit ahead of Christmas here, 2023. Beautiful day today. And when you see the light, it keeps everything clean, sunlight. Just beautiful today. And then this is a bit of a story of my life and where I guess you could call me a truther. Other people could call me a tinfoil hatter. Depends on your degree of how deep you are. But yeah, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a truther at all. It served me really well in that at the center of the globalist sort of culture that we have here. It's being forced down on us, this globalism. And at the center of it is a financial system that's controlled by the bank cartel, or as I call them, the bank gang. And since I guess 2001 and the events of September of that year, I guess you could say I woke up in the next few years, sort of past that. And I kind of started my truther journey on the message boards of the early 2000s while I was living in Tokyo, and I had no other sort of outlet for English. I'd lived a very Japanese world back in those days when I was working in a high school, and I guess there was some internet. We had internet, but there would have been no newspaper, and I was just into studying Japanese. And I'd come on the message boards. I'd come across some truthers who made really helpful. I had found out at that point in time, though, that there was a whole age of truthers that were born out of the Kennedy assassination, or the Kennedy hit, I guess. And over the years, I'd made a good friend of a person actually who was in school at a very young age during that day, and was sort of familiar with the whole sort of terror psyop, and we'd become good friends in Tokyo. His name is Lee, and yeah, we were just good friends, and he was just a great friend to talk about things with. And well, since I'd always been trying to understand, and you could see at certain point in time, like you could see in the 2008 the result of the 2008 crisis, that the government was not acting. I mean, we've seen this all throughout our life. You're like, even I can remember back, this is more of a reflection, but back on the 1980s, they were pushing all this free trade kind of bullshit. Yeah, I mean, that's so free trade is just basically screw us, the people, and the companies get the lead seat and all the benefits. And that's a reflection. And then you could see it like after the 2008 crisis. There's like, those banks should have been bankrupted. The banks don't do anything. The bank gang don't do anything. They're just these paperwork monsters. So the basically there's two purposes. One is to enslave everyone to their mortgage, to their house, basically their shelter debt. And the part is to transfer money to themselves so they can keep their game going through ownership of the communications media and any of these sort of, I mean, the most age you can say the non-governmental organizations like the WHO and these sort of globalist organizations that play the agenda, and with no sort of democratic sort of we have no democratic influence on these sort of globalist institutions, and yet they create this policy for us. So you can see that the bankers send their money to these kind of control, not even agents, those are like control mechanisms, and then they have the they have their social media agents and politicians that are been well placed. And then so my truther sort of journey, uh, I studied pretty hard at this for about 20 years because I knew that when I wanted to live abroad, I became very good at just being a hustler and a small business person at socking money away and making a profit every month. And then like the financial system never made any sense to me. And I could see at one point that, especially after 2008, because you could see that these banks should have went bankrupt, but they were totally bailed out by the government. So you could see that there had to have been, or there is, like a group sort of operating above the governments. And you could see it in 2008. And then when you went through the period between 2020 and 2023, where all the restrictions were put on people, you could see that that all the governments were acting together. So you could, at that point in time, I mean, people had talked about it, I guess, through the Trump election, everything like that, the deep state. Yeah, it's not really a deep state. You can call it, I always call it the bank gang. And the bank gang is from the private banks and the central banks, like they operate closely to each other, and then the people that own them. And then after the 2020 crisis, my focus started to be to try to understand how this sort of state above the state sort of operates. And yeah, everything basically beams out of the city of London. And if you can go further, and what the point of this video here today is, like, on all my studies, the thousands of hours that I've put into this to try to just in my life, just because I enjoy studying, it was a very worthwhile practical study. I came across the researcher Dean Henderson, and yeah, he's about if you have a chance to go down the rabbit hole, go down the Dean Henderson way. He is absolutely the most thorough. He has he's wrote 8 books, and there's might be parts of that of his sort of thesis that you disagree with, but yeah, he really understands like the structure of the globalists very, very well. And you can see there's other sort of tells through your truther journey. You see that right now, like even the so-called alternative media right now is being pretty well controlled. And I can just talk about one little thing, like in 2008, when I used to do a Google search. I used to there used to, at the bottom of the search results, you had about 20 pages. They don't give you that 20 pages anymore because they want to keep you basically on course to their mind fuck, you could call it. And so basically the mainstream sort of search engines right now generate all the globalist agenda themes. And for example, that's why I bring this up. Before 2019, and Dean Henderson's probably done literally thousands, maybe not, I don't know, hundreds of interviews all over the internet. He used to have he has a substack now that's called Lefthook, and but he had a blog then, Lefthook, that was taken down. And if you were to do a Google search engine of Dean, like a search result of like Dean Henderson on Google now, you'd get this British soccer player that would be on page after page after page. And Dean Henderson, who has hundreds of articles and I think 8 books right now, Dean, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, he's hidden under like thousands of, and you do like go to the pictures and you look for pictures of Dean Henderson, nothing's gonna ever come up. And that's to tell, because he's really over it. His research is over it all. And it's so close to what's going on right now, is that they have to hide it. And they have to hide his image through the thousands of pictures of this one soccer player who's not even famous. So if you're a truther and you just come across this, okay, I'm going to tell you that it's worth your time to go and seek out Dean Henderson. He's probably for me, he's probably near the greatest truther of our age. And he's in South Dakota or North Dakota, right? He's in the Dakotas right now. And yeah, I'm just like, I'm a fan of his, like I'm a fan of his humanity. But just so he's a great human. You know, like one of his heroes, for example, is Crazy Horse. The only, I guess, Native Indian to defeat the American army. And anyhow, I really enjoy these videos, but I invite anyone to go on to BitChute and do a search of Dean Henderson and listen to some of his interviews, and he'll really listen to 10 or 5 to 10 of them with different people, and from different time periods. You can listen to him on from the early 2000s to right up here. He's doing some videos with Regis lately, and yeah, Regis is a great truther too, and they've been doing them every week since November. But yeah, I'm the way to go if you really want to understand, you feel really sort of confused by things. Yeah, Dean Henderson is really the way to go, and he'll lay it out in much better ways than I'm doing here, because he's just a brilliant researcher. And not only is a researcher, he's got like a fucking heart on, which I love about him. He's a researcher, but he's got a heart on for these people, and he's got a yeah, he'll it's not just an academic thing for him. He'll devote the rest of his living days to this cause. And yeah, the cause is the cause for him is like ultimately the worker and the regular man, which we all are. We're like, there's even the people who feel like we're better off than other people. We're not, man. We're ants, man. And we saw that between 2020 and 23, because they had their little plan to go for their 4th industrial revolution, you know. And you know what? Their systems weren't strong enough and they couldn't get it done. And there was enough of us who were so pissed off that they just ended it right in one day. And then they went quickly. Look at the tells. Look at the tells. As soon as their fucking big plan failed, because they knew they couldn't do it, they went back to their old plan, which is the war plan. Get money from all the countries, feed the money through Raytheon and all the sort of defense contractors to keep it for themselves. And while they're at it, they'll kill a bunch of us. Anyhow, go down the hole of Dean Henderson, not the soccer player. Right on. Have a good day, everyone.